You can't find that building anymore. We built that building. That's our building. You see what I'm saying? And they bombed the building. So what they did was we had our buildings and they bombed them and then they replaced their buildings. See this? Okay. Buffalo, New York. Look at that. We built these buildings here. 1914. This is in California. Now, you see the pillars. You see pillars. We built the pillars. When you see the Temple of Lexar, it's nothing but pillars there. When you go to Egyptians, you see nothing but pillars. You will see pillars all throughout California. There's different buildings. I'm going to show you other videos. I'll put a link on here. But you will see different buildings like this with a whole bunch of pillars. We built these buildings because if they arrived here in the late 1800s, then the buildings were already here. How you going to arrive something and then just see? And then how you going to come out walking on all fours in all caves and you know how to build something like that? This is ours. We built that. Chicago Federal Building, we did that. That's our building. They did not build that there. They didn't put that there. 1900s. You see what I'm saying? These are similar buildings in Australia, in Chicago, in China, that look at, they rebuilt in 1960. They changed the face in 1960. This is Australia. Now you see this building here? We have the same buildings in California. Big buildings like this everywhere in California, everywhere. In the 1800s, look at 1890 in Australia. Now Australia is it's like another extension of California, because if you know what I'm saying, because it reaches around. But what I'm saying is that some of these, our countries was almost together at one point. So when we talk about Australia, Asia, you will see the same buildings there over here that are now bombed. They're bombed, they're destroyed. So, right? So look at these buildings. Those buildings right there, France, 1900s. Look at all of these buildings here. Okay, this is what you need to understand. Do you see all these buildings in France? These were the same buildings in America because there was no white people in this world prior to 1619. There was no white people nowhere, prior to a certain period. So every building was already here when they arrived here. When they came walking on all fours out of caves, these buildings were here. These buildings were here when the Europeans arrived. They were already here in France, in Europe. They were everywhere, and they look just like in California. This is France. But these buildings and these homes here, you know how you have the wraparound porch and all that? These buildings were built way back then, and they bombed these whole areas. They bombed all of these areas. 1800s. We created all of this. Now you may say, well, they built the buildings. Look at that. That's like Metropolis in Indiana, and look at that. That's in Japan. These look at this. In the 1830s, a monumental in Paris commemorating the revolution of the 1830s. They removed us in the 1830s. When they removed us in the 1830s, they kept the buildings here. They just murdered us out and kept the buildings here. Then they later bombed in the late 1900s when they were able to, because they didn't want the old buildings there for us to remember. Oh, I remember. So they bombed the buildings and then placed their buildings there where we were at. 1900. That's Pakistan. Look at that. Columns. Look at that. Columns. Look at this. This is now the Shia facility is a stadium dome arena where I created that Shia facilities for us to have our recreational schools and stuff like that. It's all, we created the stadiums first. There was no such thing as Athens, of a white person in Athens, Greece, creating that. We did that. We built it, all those columns and stuff. This is ours. Even in Pakistan, in the 1900s in Pakistan, it was all black people. It was black people in Iran and all of that. Then they came in and destroyed us and removed us when the Arabs removed the black people. That's when they removed the other people out of Israel. They pushed the Pakistani people in Israel, then pushed them out. You know, the Ashkenazi Jew, they're not even Jews. They're Ashkenazi, synagogue of Satan people, were going in and killing the Arabs. The Arabs was killing us. Then the Ashkenazi Jews came and killed them. So this is why they're warring, because we were there first and we built these buildings here. Louisiana, 1940. Look at that. Hold on. This is Louisiana. Okay. This is, look at the crime. We built these buildings in Louisiana. This is ours. And then you can see the aftermath of how they just bombed everything. I'm going to show you another video how they bombed these buildings in Louisiana that we created. So in 1904, they weren't even here. Actually, the ones that are in court today that we're going to go to court with, they weren't here. They were not here. I'm talking about their grandfathers, their great-great-grandfathers were over in London, England. They came later around this time. That means that the buildings that they were still here. If they arrived around 1904, and the late 1800s in a building that's already made, these buildings are old, ancient buildings that they're walking into that we created. So if this was already here in 1802 and they just arrived, then they couldn't have made it. They didn't make it. We made it. We made these buildings. These are ours. That's why I say every courthouse in Louisiana, every doctor's office, that's our shit. And everywhere. Louisville, look at that. We did that 1906. Now, of course, we have the white people that built some of these structures, the newer ones, but you'll see how they bombed them out. Look at Moscow. You will see how they bombed out the old structures, 1902. Look at that. These buildings are, all of these buildings are gone because they literally bombed out these buildings. See, before the war, we had these buildings. New York. Look at that. That's New York City. All of that. Look at that. In Japan, look just like our buildings. In Japan. Look at 1919. Look at that. In San Francisco, 1919. Where is this at? Does this exist? These are pillars. These are pillars and columns here. These are the same buildings that see these they bombed them in San Francisco. See, they bombed our structures because you don't see these buildings anymore. Look at that. This is in South Africa. This building looked just like the building downtown. Look at that. 19 in Paris. Look at that. That's in Italy. That's in California? Wait a minute. No, that's the post office building. Oh, that's in California. That's in 19. Dang, that's the post office building. See, we had post office. These are post office building in 19. If they built that there in the 1900s, Okay, so I'm not gonna I'm gonna leave a link. I'm just wanted you to show you, and then I'll leave a link of how they bombed it. You'll see the bombings because this station is all about how they bombed our buildings. Okay, if those buildings were there in 1902, these are old post office buildings. That means we had our own postal service. We had our own courthouses. That's what I'm saying. Each Negro person, gingerbread colored person, have to have their own business that we used to have because it was 18 black presidents in each state. Before John Hanson, it was 18 of them in each state because we had different tribes. We got Choctaw, we got Blackfoot, Iroquois, you got Cherokee, Seminoles. You got all kind of different tribes that we got names we didn't even mention yet. We got 12 disciples. We got all in. We got King Solomon's men and King David's men because every man has his own tribe. You know what I'm saying? You got your own family. You know. So Don Dirk has his own. That's King Solomon right there. He got his own family. He has his own law, his own set of rules. He's the president of his communities. That's why it was 18 presidents per state because there was a lot of tribes, and it was, and the man was the president of that country. Of course, the women was the one that ruled it all because she's the one that puts everybody in their positions. Just like I'm saying, I'm putting everybody in their positions of what they're supposed to do so they can rule over their own life. It's your shit. I'm just trying to give you your stuff so I can get my stuff. Mine is over here in California in my space. So each and every Negro, gingerbread colored person you want to call yourself, have your own. You have your own area. You have your own promised land. It's what you want to do. You have your and what is the Shia facility? Now the Shia facility is a housing, recreational sports dome arena, but it's a theme park on the outside. Inside, it's the recreation where you have your kids and your children. You can see them play. Okay, and it's securely sealed. It's a sports dome arena, and on the outside of that, you have other energy sufficient homes that we would also live in, to where we keep our RVs at, and we would travel around into different of these Shia facilities. 13 of them in each state, and we would travel and we would see our family and we would take care of them, and we would see cousins and families and stuff like that, and we would have our laws, to our what we understand, and that we never killed, we never murdered our own people. We never did that. We started murdering each other when the Europeans came in here. That's when we started, because there was no such thing as guns. So they're the ones that brung the guns, the one shot musket gun where you got to do this and rip this off and put this and do all that. They brung that shit there, and then the Chinese upgraded it. The Chinese upgraded the gunpowder and the gun, and then gave it to them to overtake us because they couldn't be a real true ninja. Okay, so now I'm gonna get off this. I just wanted to make this. I want to thank you so much. If listen, now this might be too much for you to handle. That's why I'm saying you just have to bring your men and you have to discuss this. You have to come together and you got to represent me so I can show you exactly what to say and what to do. You don't have to worry about nothing. I will help you. I will walk you through this so that we'll know exactly what our positions is. So it will be no mistaking on what they won't think that we're lying or we're being deceitful or we're playing around. I don't want them to think that at all. I want them to know we're serious, because we are. This is our shit, and we just discovered something, and that we discovered that this is our land and that you guys are foreigners. And when you look under the law dictionary, you have to look under fine. We're going to have the class action lawsuit of the case of foreigners in our country and discovery. Discovery that we discovered that you guys are foreign criminals on our land and you have to be removed. That's the lawsuit. Who are we focusing on? We're focusing on certain businesses that are on the poster magazines that you see. The poster magazine that you see is the businesses that we're interested in only. So we're interested in these businesses that you see, and it would be the indoor RV motorhome coach centers. We need 13 of that in each state. And top of the line RV motor coach. And then we need the Department of Real Estate, Land Management. Business and Land Management. That means, business and land management. We need that company. And they just sent me the United States to bid on just that. You bid on that. You bid on land management. It's called BLM. It's business and land management. You can literally bid on a business. Right. So when we go to court, that's what I will be presenting. What businesses I need to start this, to start the Shia facility for the Promised Land. So in order for us to get to the Promised Land, we have to go to the court judges to have a publication announcement for the rules and regulation of the Promised Land, to tell the court attorneys or judges, we would go to the top Supreme Court. The top Supreme Court would be the Attorney General's office. So we would have to actually file the class action lawsuit against the top Attorney General's office, because the Attorney General's office is all where they rule the court's offices, and they would have to remove the judges. So we would have to go to so that means the Negro attorneys would have to go against the Attorney Bar Association, and say, sir, we are coming on the basis of discovery, and that you guys are foreigners on our own land, and that we're being genocided out, and we need you to move. We need you to be removed from this office so that we can maintain our office as it should be, because right now we're being murdered by you, and there's no way around that, and you can't say no. Why can't you say no? Because the evidence has presented itself. You're still sitting here and we're dying. That's why. See, the thing is that you're still sitting in office and we're dying. That's why you can't be in office, because we're dying. You see, the television station network that's using the resources against us is using it against us. They're talking ill will about us. They're manipulating our minds. They're showing programs that are not true. They're showing lies, and they're making people believe it. And you can't do that. You're plagiarizing our stuff. You stole our land, dresses. You stole clothing. You stole everything you can think of. We had you stole it. I'm just saying clothing. You stole everything. And then when you try to make the medicine, you put the poison in the medicine. You put the poison in the food. So we can't have you being in court ruling over us. We can't have you in the grocery stores. We can't have you in the doctor's office, meaning that we have to get our own doctor's building and remove some of these doctors and put our original health horticulture doctors, you know what I mean, with the health doctors in there. You know what I'm saying? So our communities can be safe for our people, because Biden cannot speak for us. They have to speak for their own people. So they have to speak for their own people. You know what I'm saying? They can never talk ill will about us ever again. They have to only address that to their people. And that's basically what has to happen. So I'm going to get off this video, and I'll make another one after this, but I just want to get off the video and just let you know that it's important to contact me by email and just let me know, yes, Catherine, we're going to take your case, and then I'll go ahead and, and we'll talk on the phone and everything like that, because we have to get this together. And we got to start with simultaneously with Larry Hoover and my case and your case. And what is the case? We are taking back the companies that are using the resources against us. That's basically it. We're claiming our own resources. We're claiming our companies that they want to push us out of. They can't do that. That's against the law of nature. And okay, right? Because we're not the only ones that's saying it. The universe is saying it. This is why you're a lawyer, Jamal. You're a lawyer because you're supposed to do just what I'm saying. This is what you was made to be. A lawyer, so that you can have your own court office to bring Larry Hoover's the Larry Hoover that he can see that's evil. That's a menace. That's a threat to us. Into prison, where they had Hoover at, in all prisons. So each prison is for the evil people to go into, because you got the evil out here and the innocent in the prison. And we have to switch that, right? Okay, so who's going to come against us? Whoever comes against us with that, then they have to be brought to jail. They got to go to jail. You see what I'm saying? Or that they just have to just shut up. Don't worry about it. Like if they just talk and something, don't worry about it. But so yeah. So I don't want you to have any type of worry or fear or anything like that, because we're only standing on the truth. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to end this and I will make another video later. All right. Bye-bye.